So as these years have gone by and I've gotten into music in different ways, one of the things that always got me into music was analog synthesizers. And like 20 years ago, I was at a store in Rome and there just happened to be this really cool synthesizer there. It was a Jupiter 4. It was from 1978. It was kind of battered, but it was okay. And the price was pretty good. It was like 600 euro equivalent today. So whatever that is. Really good. And I brought it home and plugged it in and played with it for many years. And I loved it. It was super cool. I mean, it was one of those synthesizers that when you turned it on, it instantly gave you something cool. Also, what was super cool about the synth was that it was polyphonic, which is like kind of hard to find in those old, at that era, there were the first polyphonic synths. And it was also, you could use it in unison, so you could create 4 voices into one and make these enormous sounds. It was slightly unwieldy. It would go out of tune easily. You'd have to keep an eye on it, that kind of stuff. The environment would influence it. So if it was like warm, it would sound a certain way. It would warm up quicker. If it was cold, it'd take longer to get going. Everything that we all know about analog synths. Anyway, long story short, it was like I'd had it for about 20 years and I was like, okay, I needed a little bit of cash, but I also have this philosophy, and this is a philosophy if you guys want to comment in and let me know what you think. I feel like everything that has to do with my music, even if I make money off of it, I want to reinvest it into my music. So if I'm going to sell a synthesizer, I'll reinvest it into maybe a keyboard or something else. But point is I'm not going to sell a synthesizer to buy a car or something like that. I feel like this is very much one of my ideas that I like to keep the music space contained. Anyway, so with that being said, I ended up finding somebody who was interested in buying it, and there's a cool site that I'll bring up probably in our YouTube videos because I want to do some stuff with this site too about showing you guys how to go online and find used equipment. But one of the things was that you know, these synthesizers can go for pretty high prices. Like an analog synth from 1978 in good shape, Juno 4, it's like a 5,000 euro synth. I ended up selling it for about 3,000 because it wasn't in the best shape ever. Also because I feel like, you know, again, the music is more important than the money. So like when you give stuff to the next person, I'm giving the guy like a 45-year-old synth basically. I can't say for sure that the capacitors will keep going or whatever, you know, so like point is I'm giving a little bit of room too because I think it should keep working. There's no reason why it shouldn't keep working, but it's still a 45-year-old synth. So anyway, I lowered the price for him a little bit. When I then had this cash on hand to then reinvest, I had been looking at YouTube videos for a long time, and the videos that were appealing to me were of course, the big YouTube video music guys, but also this idea of going back to my personal roots, which I have started to understand a little bit more with the Soviet side of my family that I don't really know anything about. But what started interesting me is Soviet synthesizers, right? So like things that were produced in the past, typically from that area, have a lot of maybe little bugs, or they're not the most highly quality synths that you can find, often because they just weren't really given the same respect, not because the components themselves weren't great, but because as everything goes, like, you know, the West kind of went further forward and things that happened in Europe were a little bit slower. Anyway, but I got interested in these guys called Elta Music who were making the synthesizer that was called the Solar 42. It was like this amazing ambient music making synthesizer. And what I liked about it was that it was completely different than the things that I had seen out there because more or less, I mean, the format for a synthesizer, a music module, you know, all this music stuff back here, the format is basically the same. I mean, it's gotten to the point nowadays where like you buy a hardware piece of equipment, but really it's basically a VST inside a metal box. But what's cool is this Solar is like totally off the charts. It doesn't even have MIDI. It's like, yeah, I can integrate with CV, but it's kind of like a whole new world. And so I'm really excited to share with you because I've been waiting since April. Today is like the last day of August, basically. So thank you to the guys at Elta, and always thank you to you guys for seeing these videos. And let's see what's going on with this new Solar 42. I'm going to unbox it. It's my first unboxing, so yo, check it out. Okay guys, so the unboxing is, people on YouTube who are really good at this, they have like the overhead cam and like the good lights. I got a good cam. I got some okay lights. but I don't have the whole setup like perfect, so I'm gonna do it my way, okay? The box is like pretty cool already because, look, let me show you guys. So you guys can see like right off the bat that it's like a pretty cool box. I mean, I also like what it says, you know, experimental music, microtonal, all this stuff is like all the things that are really cool about when you put more thought into music. And again, you guys know me, I'm not denying the fact that I don't come from a classical music background, but all this like space kind of stuff, you guys know me. What I like is like spaceships, you know? So when we're talking about stuff like this, you know, this is like totally my style. You know? I think the guys at Elta made it kind of easy. It's not a big deal to open this box. Let's see. Open it like this. And it's basically like a pizza. It's a pizza! It's a synthesizer pizza. Oh! Wow, I mean, in a way, the packaging is kind of minimal if you think about it. I mean, it's coming through without anything else. It's like, I mean, super cool, super excited about those stickers. Simple packaging, simple layout, essential. I'm super pumped about this. So you can get a couple different colors of the synthesizer, and at the time, oh, super cool, they give you also patch cables. I was a little bit worried about that because, I mean, I have a couple, but you know, it's always nice to have. And anyway, so you can get this synth in a couple different colors, and in the end, I got it in, I think it's called like, oh, I can't even remember what it's called because it's like some kind of off-white color. But, you know, one of the things that I think makes people super pumped about this kind of stuff you know, synthesizers in general. Why do people even like these things? I mean, they're basically works of art. They're basically works of art, you know? I mean, like this synthesizer, let me flip it. This is some really hardcore, next level, super cool stuff. I'll make a video where like I'll explain in more detail like what the things do. Today's to kind of just show you guys that finally, after a really long time, something that I'm very excited about has arrived. So that's super cool. One of the things too about getting into equipment, and I know there's a fan in the background, but honestly guys, like it's too hot in Rome. I live in Rome, Italy. It's like 120 degrees out right now, so bear with me, okay? These pieces of equipment, they're hand built. So they're like, you know, one of, let's say, hopefully for these guys, they end up being successful. This is already, I feel like their third version because there was like a Elta 50, Elta 42, this is an Elta 42F. So I will plug it in and just kind of dib and dab for a second, but I will definitely do a proper video where I go through it and all the different things. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm just mind blown. These pieces of equipment, they're pieces of equipment hopefully that can be kind of with you for a long time. Like I told you guys, the other synth I had it for like 20 years. And that's, you know, a big part of your life. So anyway, pretty cool, right? Let's turn it on. Let's see what it does. So there's also, because as you guys will see this more and more, the guys in Elta at Elta Music, they're in Latvia right now. But before Latvia, they were in Ukraine, and before Ukraine, they were like in Russia, if I got that story straight. So the reason why I'm bringing that up is because sometimes with these companies, you're getting also lots of different adapters. And that's actually really cool of them, and something that, you know, it is an expensive synthesizer, so yes, they should give you these things, but it's also really cool that they do. So that's nice. That's real nice, actually. Also, because if you're traveling, you know, let's say this is portable enough that you can go around. Let's say one time you're in Europe and one time you're in America. The difference between having all these in one little set and it's all ready to go, it's cool. It's like really nice. By the way, guys, sometimes it's funny, like I'll be doing like an unboxing or something like that, and I'll just like be putting my phone down for a second. It just so happens to be like on a synth. It's so more me weirdo stuff. Anyway, so European, plug it in, set it up, get it going. In the comments, if you guys want to write, all 4 subscribers that I'll hopefully have, what do you guys do with these things? I have like a million of these, and they are handy, and I do rewrap my wires with them, but where do you put them in the meantime? All right, here we go. So the synth is powered with a 12-volt external power supply, and that's pretty straightforward. So plugged in. Now let's see what kind of outs it has. So balanced, rather unbalanced, right, left. Here we go. Got some cables ready. I've been thinking about this synth for a long time, but then like everything, you get wrapped up in a million other things. So then, you know, other things happen, and it's kind of amazing that like it's finally here. I'm going to just send it through the mixer. I literally haven't set up anything. I'm setting it up with you guys. This is the first time I've ever turned it on. Hey, buddy. Where to begin? It makes a sound. Amazing. Look, like I said before, an unboxing is all I really wanted to do today because this thing is so deep that I'll be doing multiple videos on it. But yeah, I mean, look, let's start like this. I think this thing is going to be a crazy... This will be a lot of fun, guys. So thank you guys for visiting me on my YouTube channel, and thank you to Elta for sending the synth. I know how hard it can be to, if you have a small company, I have a small company, and you're working really hard and you're not a lot of people. So I really appreciate these guys. You know, this is kind of like the anti-big companies thing. So yeah, thank you guys, and talk to you soon. Peace.